The times we live in right now are challenging beyond anything we could have anticipated. If someone had told us 20 years ago that this would be our experience today, we might have panicked. We might have made rash decisions about how to prepare. But there is no real preparation for times such as these, at least no preparation other than the careful creation of a society over generations that is just resilient enough and just compassionate enough and just enough to withstand the trials we face. And we are facing them. It's easy to slip into despair, into hopelessness. Despair is a ready companion. And while all of us slip in and out of brief moments of wanting to give up, sometimes slipping back out of those moments is a desperately uphill battle. And yet, it is always within our power to turn from it, no matter the lies it tells you otherwise. Don't believe despair when it tells you this is all you will ever know again. It's not true. And in a strange way, it is fighting for its survival as well. But the truth is different. You have all the power you need right there within you. May we light this chalice in the spirit of hope. May we light it with the intent that it reveals within ourselves the optimism we long for. Light is blessing. Light is comfort. Light is joy. May we ever embrace it. Do not despair. You've been told, so don't do it. But of course, it's easier said than done. And what is despair? It's not merely sadness. It's deeper than sadness. It's the persistent belief that sadness is your new permanent mailing address. It's from the Latin prefix de, meaning down from, and sperare, meaning to hope, as if hope is the pinnacle and we are banished from ever reaching it again. But despair is not about being in the depths. It's about looking away from the light. It's about choosing to see the depths as your new forever reality rather than just a temporary one. And it's actually quite easy to slip into a belief that we will never be happy again when we lose someone or something. We can't begin to picture what it would feel like to be happy as we process our loss. But worse, we fear we are doing our love for them a disservice by imagining a future happiness in the midst of our present grief. We think it says we really didn't love them unless we tear our clothes and put ashes on our heads and vow to never again think a pleasant thought. But that is not what is wanted for us. We were not made to be broken forever. We were made to become more beautiful from our brokenness. Look up the art of kintsugi. Of course, despair comes not only from loss of a loved one, but loss in general. It's grief that has, much like a wound left without care, become like an infection. A wound needs love and attention. It needs patience. But when we ignore our grief or don't notice it's there, we delve further into the valley. Shadows of death surround us, and we forget to notice the light entirely. We then find no hope at all that it ever existed. Perhaps it was in our imagination. I've come close to this feeling many times, and I've sort of lost the battle with it at least once. When I was 20, a series of mid-range misfortunes coalesced into a perfect storm, and I simply folded into myself for weeks. I rarely left the house for anything other than therapy. I ate instant cheesecake like it was manna. I remember distinctly what the feeling of hopelessness was allowed to do within me. I also remember making the choice to turn from my despair. But I had to accept where I was first in order to leave it. I used my imagination to reach for a better thought. I decided the bottom of the barrel now offered the best view of the sky, but I had to give in to it and just lay down to see. Now that I was there, I needed to give myself over to the experience of feeling hopeless so I could pass through it. I was resisting it. And that's the secret to despair. The solution to its puzzle lies in the ability to allow it to pass through you with the knowledge and steadfast belief that it will pass. It will. There is an end to the bed of hot coals you are walking on. And if you can hold on to that thought while allowing yourself to feel the loss, the grief, the abandonment, you'll find that will be the key to discovering the best version of your new self. Because we always change from loss. But it is entirely your decision what change that will be.
Be at ease now and breathe. Let the breath flow smoothly in and out, letting the oxygen flow into every extremity, letting it seep into the fabric of your body, nourishing it, reviving it, restoring it through the breath. Close your eyes as you are willing, and imagine before you a small black stone. This stone appears that it would be cold. It appears as though it could make you lonely or afraid just by touching it. It seems to have a menacing quality to it. But as you continue to breathe, consider being at ease with its presence before you. Contemplate the notion that it will bring you no harm. Allow it to simply exist without judgment or resentment or fear. Just ease and breathe. Now, in your mind, reach forward and gingerly touch the surface of the stone with the tip of your finger. It is warm. You are not sure what to expect exactly, but you didn't expect it to feel warm. Its warmth surprises you. Perhaps there is more here than you realize. And breathe. You decide to go further and pick up the rock to place in your palm. Its warmth is still there, but now that you hold it more fully, you realize it is not a comforting experience. You perceive now that its warmth is the result of great internal conflict, an effort, a struggle, friction between its molecules. In your mind, you now see that the conflict within the stone has inspired despair, hopelessness, fatigue, weariness. The stone is tired and wishes to be at peace. As you breathe in empathy. Exhale empathy into the stone. Breathe in well-being. Exhale well-being into the stone. But you perceive your work with it is unfinished. Gently, you raise the stone to your chest and hold it there with love. A sudden burst of relief floods you. A perception of the purpose of suffering within the stone enters your mind and puts you at ease. The stone has a message for you. It is this: do not resist despair. Let it flow through you. Do not resist the despair of others. Embrace them. Become as a conduit for despair to release itself without restraint into the universe. Despair is not what you think. It will not destroy you. Let it go. Its secret is in doing the opposite of what you fear. Its benevolence is revealed in the process of being at peace with it. Its power is taken away by facing it, by revealing it, by bidding despair hail and farewell. Take one final breath and return.